Gillian Hart kept her choir room rigged with more microphones and decibel meters than some recording studios. The district assumed the equipment was for pedagogical rigor. Gillian simply loved knowing, with near mathematical certainty, when 40 teenagers achieved the right balance of tremolo and breath. On an October Monday near dusk, she was calibrating the soprano section when she noticed Alex Ruiz' second row tenor, rail thin, polite to a fault, freeze mid-phrase. The choir was easing through Eric Whittaker's Lux Oromque, a piece whose chord clusters often made Gillian feel as if the air had turned syrupy. Everyone exhaled the final consonant, and the room fell silent except for the hum of fluorescent lights. Alex's mouth, though, stayed parted. His eyes shimmered as if movie frames were flickering behind them. "Alex?" He blinked back, face strained. "Sorry, Miss Hart. I thought I saw colors, like ribbon." Gillian smiled. "Sounds like synesthesia. Some people hear harmonies and picture shapes. It was unusual but not unheard of." She logged the note and dismissed rehearsal. 2 days later, during Brahms's Geistliches Lied, Alex jerked so violently that his folder clapped shut. This time he swore a soft Spanish oath, earning giggles from altos. "What color is Brahms?" Gillian teased, masking concern. Alex swallowed. "Not colors now. Faces." From then on, Alex's hallucinations arrived only when the choir achieved a precise dissonance, resolving into consonant moments Gillian lived for. He'd blanch, lose the pitch, then recover. She pulled him aside after Friday practice. "Are you sleeping? Meds? Anything I should know?" "I'm fine," he insisted. "I think the music's just opening something." Gillian typed a cautious email to the counselor, but never sent it. She hated the idea of bureaucratic red tape crushing a brilliant young tenor's confidence. The first death happened that weekend. Coach Danbury, head of football, was found in the high school pool, neck twisted against the diving board. Everyone assumed drunken misadventure. The man drank from a thermos that smelled like mouthwash and whiskey. Gillian attended the faculty briefing Monday morning and felt faint when she saw Alex lurking at the edge of the library stacks, listening. His eyes darted across the staff's faces as if searching for sheet music no one else could see. Rehearsal proceeded shakily. The basses lagged, the sopranos screeched, and Gillian, normally exacting, let mistakes slide. Near the end, she tried a daring blend, altos holding a suspended fourth against the rest of the chord. It blossomed into a shimmering, aching tension. Every singer lifted chins, breath caught. This was the crystalline, instant choral conductor's chair. Alex stared into empty air. Afterward, he tucked his folder into his bag, lingering. When the room emptied, he approached her. "I need to talk, but not here," he whispered. They walked under bleachers behind the auditorium, gray daylight slanting through planks. Alex's voice trembled. "When we lock those harmonies just right, I get visions. At first it was colors, then faces. Now, stories. The night Coach Danbury died, I heard a chord. Not from us, from somewhere. I saw him falling, water swallowing him. I thought it was imagination. Next morning he was dead." Gillian's mouth tasted metallic. "You're saying you predicted it?" Alex shook his head vehemently. "I initiated it." He pressed palms to temples. "The visions ask me to complete them. Like a conductor cueing an orchestra. If I do certain gestures, the scene becomes real." Gillian stepped back. "That's impossible." "I wish." She might have dismissed it as psychosis if she hadn't noticed fine bruises on his wrists, finger marks, as if something invisible had steered his arms. She called his mother, framing concerns as performance anxiety. Ms. Ruiz admitted Alex had sleepwalked lately, but chalked it up to college stress. She welcomed Gillian's offer to provide mentorship. Tuesday evening, Gillian locked herself in her office and replayed rehearsal recordings, isolating the exact second Alex glazed over. She fed the audio through a spectrum analyzer. Nothing exotic, just pure choral intonation. Yet, as the cluster resolved, the hairs on her forearms rose. A stutter of static bled into the wave file like a hidden signal piggybacking on the harmony, perhaps an artifact from the mic, But when she boosted gain, the static coalesced into faint whispers, 3 syllables repeated. Sic, itur, ad astra. Thus one goes to the stars. Latin? Whitaker's piece wasn't in Latin. The static belonged to something else entirely. That night she dreamed of standing before a void of swirling ribbons, her arms moving against her will, shaping the void into images she did not wish to see. The second death struck Thursday. Vice Principal Coates, heart impaled on a shard of brass flagpole after a freak windstorm toppled it. Security footage later showed no wind, just Coates walking, stopping, and gazing upwards seconds before the pole sheared. Jillian saw the footage with other staff, but her stomach clenched for a different reason. The position of Coates's arms while he stood there, elbows raised, fingers splayed, mirrored the gesture Gillian used to cue a fermata. Someone or something had conducted his death. She found Alex after class. He sat alone in the soundproof practice room, humming an F-sharp pedal tone. His shirt was spattered with what looked like rust. Close up, it was dried blood. Whose blood? She whispered. Mine, he said. He extended his forearms. Shallow cuts traced flowing script Latin phrases, carved by some external hand. It makes me do patterns. When the music is right, I can... Direct forces. I never wanted this. Tears tracked his cheeks. They promise beauty if I sculpt the world with their harmonies. They speak in chords. Who are they? Alex looked past her, eyes widening. Listen. The school bell echoed, a cluster of minor thirds if one listened abstractly. Alex's spine straightened as if strings yanked him. Jillian slapped her hands over his ears, muffling the sound. He sagged, dazed. Come with me. She hustled him to her car, ignoring the janitor's puzzled glance. At her apartment, she brewed chamomile tea and pulled every rehearsal score from her bookshelf. We'll find the common denominator, she said. Some interval triggers you. We avoid it. They sight-sang through pages until Alex winced at a Ray's 11th chord. Gillian circled it. Then another piece produced the same effect. Lydian overtones, stacked seconds. When 4 voices spaced precisely, something opened a door. Okay, she breathed, heart hammering. Tomorrow we change repertoire. No more extended clusters. Alex's expression flickered, relief, then dread. But the concert's Saturday. Your Honor's Winter Showcase programs Whitaker and Lauridsen. Those clusters are the climax. I'll rearrange. He shook his head. They won't allow it. Jillian froze. Alex, you control your own body. His lips twitched into a tragic smile. I thought so too. That night Gillian rewrote the set list, substituting Renaissance homophony, triadic, and safe. She grouped message choir officers. Some griped but trusted her. Friday morning, the principal summoned her. There's confusion about tomorrow's program, he said, tapping the revised list. Parents expect the advertised literature. Gillian tried to argue musicological prerogative. He insisted, the posters stay. Gillian left with a migraine brewing. In hallway glass, she saw Alex flanked by 2 freshmen, laughing shyly. Normal. Yet when his eyes flicked toward her, the hallway fluorescence strobed, and she heard faintly that whispery Latin. In rehearsal, she ran Palestrina. Safe. Alex sang clear, relaxed. Gillian's shoulders unclenched. Maybe the phenomenon could be controlled after all. During final period, Gillian visited the auditorium to check lighting cues. Stage manager Tasha, a meticulous senior, had already hung gels. Gillian climbed the scaffold to adjust a rogue barn door. When she descended, the ladder shuddered. She glanced down. A pin had been removed. The ladder swayed. From the orchestra pit, Alex watched, expression blank. Gillian's pulse thundered. She leapt to the catwalk, scraping her shin as the ladder crashed, aluminum screeching across stage. By the time she hobbled down, Alex was gone. She drove home, numbed by adrenaline, bandaged her leg, and opened a bottle of red wine. Halfway through the glass, she thought of the static whispers. Could they be recorded again? Exposed? She retrieved the day's rehearsal files from her laptop. Nothing unusual. She layered tracks, amplifying residual noise. At 60 dB, the hiss resolved into chanting, not Latin this time, phonemes she didn't know. As she listened, her living room lights flickered in time to the cadence, refrigerator motor shifting pitches like a pedal organ. She yanked headphones off, heart racing. The phone rang. Caller ID unknown. She let voicemail pick up Alex's voice. Mrs. Hart, they say the concert must happen as written. They promise it's the final movement. Perfect harmony, then I'm free. I'm so tired, please let me finish the piece. Click. She dialed back, number dead. Saturday dawned with icy rain. Gillian arrived early, determined to cancel, but Union stage crew had already set risers and tuned house mics. Programs lay on seats, glossy, proclaiming, Whitaker, Lauridsen, Gajaraki. Administration expected donors and the mayor. She cornered Principal Saito backstage. He listened, perplexed, to her talk of dangerous intervals. Gillian, he said softly, I know you're grieving colleagues, but blaming chords? You need rest. He slipped away to greet patrons. House lights dimmed. Gillian confronted her choir in green room buzz. She searched faces, some nervous, some excited, Alex pale but composed. She considered yanking the fire alarm, but students depended on this night for scholarships. She couldn't prove anything. She whispered to Alex, If you feel compelled, walk off stage. I'll cover. He nodded gratefully. The concert began with Giudecari's Totus, safe sustain, warm applause. Next, Palestrina. Gillian had insisted on keeping it. Then the stagehands rolled on a vibraphone for Whitaker's Sleep. The audience hushed. Gillian lifted arms. The first stacked seconds bloomed a luminous, fragile fabric. Alex's eyes glazed. Gillian modulated tempo, trying to blur the interval. But the choir's muscle memory overpowered her. The chord locked, resonant. House lights flickered, and murmured. Alex's posture shifted, marionette taut. His arms rose, mirroring Gillian's. She cut off the choir. Alex's hands kept moving, drawing shapes in air. A deep hum emanated from the shell, though no one sang. From above, a stage baton squealed, unspooling cable. Gillian recognized disaster cues and shouted, Clear stage! Teenagers scattered. A 400-pound lighting bar swung downward. Alex pivoted, thrusting palms laterally. The baton halted mid-descent, suspended against physics. Audible gasps erupted. Gillian felt air pressure drop, as though auditorium walls breathed. Alex stepped center stage, eyes reflecting prismatic ribbons invisible to others. He raised his right hand. The bar rotated, pointing toward the audience. Screams. Gillian charged, wrapping arms around his waist, trying to break the line of his gesture. His body burned with unnatural heat. He whispered, They said one more and I'm free. Fight, she cried. It's your body. Tears streamed down his face. He lowered his hand an inch. The bar quivered. Gillian imagined lines of harmony like laser threads linking Alex to the rigging. Cut the sound, cut his power. She shifted, clapping hand over his mouth, then shouted to percussionist Maya, still clutching vibraphone mallets. Hit a perfect fifth, loud! Maya struck C and G with tremolo. The pure consonants sliced through the auditorium like sunlight. Alex convulsed. The suspended bar clanged to the deck harmlessly. The hum died. Lights steadied. In stunned silence, Gillian led Alex backstage. He collapsed, sobbing, repeating, I'm sorry. Principal Saito burst in. What happened? Gillian spoke quickly. Rigging failure, but we're safe. Concert's done. Paramedics took Alex for psych evaluation. Parents grumbled refunds. Some hailed Gillian as hero. Others whispered lawsuit. She didn't care. She drove to the hospital and signed in as Alex's emergency educator contact. He lay sedated. She sat until dawn, humming gentle triads. Investigators later ruled the bar incident a mechanical fault. They never explained how an unsecured cable knotted itself mid-air. Alex transferred to a therapeutic boarding school. They phoned Gillian monthly. No more hallucinations. He avoided complex harmonies, practiced solo guitar. Gillian returned to her choir, repertoire adjusted. Yet sometimes when rehearsals accidentally birthed that pristine, aching dissonance, the room's temperature dropped. Microphone meters spiked, registering faint hiss. Then she'd break the chord, insert a perfect fifth, and imagine somewhere far beyond human pitch that something hungry turned away, disappointed. And still, on nights when the town lay silent and she reviewed recordings, Gillian would amplify a background hiss and hear beneath the noise floor a whisper, not quite Latin, murmuring like a conductor counting off the downbeat. She kept those files hidden but not deleted, because part of her, the part that always ached for perfect harmony, still wondered what the ribbons looked like, and whether, if she were the one to lift her arms just so, she might sculpt the world into something terrible and beautiful at once.